Merrick Thorne's boots slammed against the steel grate as sparks flew from the ruptured power conduit. Smoke swirled in the narrow corridor, stinging his eyes, burning his lungs. The station shuddered again, louder this time, as if the asteroid itself were groaning under the impact. A distant alarm shrieked, echoing through the twisting tunnels. Merrick didn't hesitate. He knew someone, or something, was trapped inside. He rounded a corner and froze. Half-broken support beams pinned a small creature to the wall. Its body was twisted, wings pressed awkwardly against jagged metal. Marek's stomach clenched. He'd seen injuries before, but this wasn't human. Its scales shimmered faintly like liquid starlight. Its eyes, wide and terrified, reflected sparks and smoke in miniature galaxies. "Hang on," Merrick whispered, though the smoke made his voice hoarse. He dropped to his knees, pressing his hands against the debris. Every second counted. The station's life support was flickering, and if he didn't move fast, both of them would be crushed or suffocated. He shifted a beam just enough to relieve the creature's pressure. It hissed, a soft, otherworldly sound that vibrated in his chest. Marek's mind raced. He had no medkits for this, no protocols, no training for alien physiology, but he did have tools, knowledge, and stubborn courage. Pulling a compact welding torch from his belt, he cut through twisted metal with shaking hands. Sparks sprayed across the corridor, igniting the thin smoke in brief orange flares. The creature flinched at each spark, but Merrick kept moving. He had to be faster. A sudden tremor threw him against the wall. The station groaned violently. Ceiling panels fell, narrowly missing the creature. Merrick shouted, gripping the edges of the beam and pulling with all his strength. Pain shot through his arms, but he didn't stop. One more push, one more desperate pull. The beam shifted just enough. The creature collapsed onto the floor, panting in small, shallow breaths. Its wings twitched, weak and uncertain, but alive. Merrick didn't have time to celebrate. The momentary quiet was broken by a high-pitched whine. An emergency drone, previously dormant, had detected the energy signature. It hovered, scanning its weapons charging. "Not now," Merrick muttered. He grabbed a nearby panel, yanking wires free to short-circuit the drone. Sparks flew. The machine shuddered, then sparked and powered down. The corridor fell into an uneasy silence, punctuated only by the creature's faint breathing and the station's distant creaks. Merrick crouched beside it, examining the scales. They weren't just protective. They seemed alive, pulsing faintly with cosmic energy. He reached out, brushing a finger over its back. The creature flinched, then pressed closer to him, weak but trusting. Merrick felt an odd warmth, almost a connection, like a bridge forming in that smoke-filled corridor. A sudden flash of light streaked across the ceiling, and Merrick ducked instinctively. Something else was coming, he couldn't tell what, but the energy reading spiked on his wrist console. The creature twitched violently, wings sparking faint blue arcs as if reacting to the unseen presence. Marek's heart pounded. He barely had time to stabilize it, and now something else was approaching. Something enormous, something that didn't belong in the station. "Stay calm," he whispered, more to himself than the creature. He had no plan for this yet, only instinct. He lifted the creature into his arms, feeling its weight, a mixture of fragility and latent power, and ran toward the nearest maintenance hatch. The corridor seemed endless, the smoke thicker, the alarms louder. A sudden collapse to his left threw him off balance. Debris clattered to the floor, narrowly missing the creature. Merrick barely caught himself against a wall, the alien's soft cry echoing in his ears. He realized then that this creature wasn't just injured, it was dying, slowly, from some cosmic injury he didn't understand. Every second counted. As he reached the hatch, a shadow passed over the corridor. Merrick froze. The creature stiffened in his arms, wings stretching instinctively, eyes glowing brighter. Something was watching. Something intelligent. Something enormous. The hatch wouldn't budge. Merrick pressed harder, fingers bleeding from jagged edges. He had to get out. He had to save it. And whatever was out there, it wasn't going to wait. With one final heave, the hatch gave way. Merrick tumbled into the lower chamber, the creature pressed to his chest. He caught a glimpse of the chamber ceiling, etched with strange, luminescent symbols he hadn't noticed before, glowing faintly like distant stars. The creature shivered violently, wings brushing his face. Marek's breath caught. Then through the smoke and sparks, a voice, or maybe a thought, reached him, faint and clear in his mind. "Do not fail us." Marek's eyes widened. He didn't know if it came from the creature or somewhere deeper, but he realized the station was no ordinary place, and this creature was no ordinary being. The danger wasn't just the collapsing station. The danger had only begun. He tightened his grip. "I won't," he whispered. The lights flickered again. Something massive shifted above him. Marek's heart raced as a low rumble echoed through the chamber. The dragon's glow intensified, illuminating shapes that Marek couldn't yet understand. And then the chamber door behind him slammed shut on its own, sealing them in. Marek slammed his shoulder against the chamber door. It didn't budge. Sparks from the failing panel above rained down, sizzling against the metal floor. The dragon-like creature in his arms trembled, its cosmic glow flickering like a dying star. Marek's fingers tightened around it. He had saved it from the debris, but now the real danger had begun. A low hum rose from the walls. The station itself seemed alive, pulsating in rhythm with the creature's weakening energy. Marek crouched, pressing his ear close to the creature's chest. Its breathing was shallow, uneven, each inhale punctuated by a faint, musical hiss. He could feel the pulse of power beneath its scales, a force so potent it made the station's machinery whine in protest. Then came the first shock. A sudden surge of energy shot through the floor panels. Marek was thrown backward, landing hard on his back, the creature slipping dangerously from his arms. He caught it just in time, cradling it as sparks danced around them. The glow on its scales had intensified, sharp and jagged like lightning. Marek's mind raced. This wasn't just energy, it was unstable, growing more volatile by the second. The station's alarms wailed, red lights bathing the chamber in panic. Marek scanned for tools. He spotted a medkit, a welding kit, and an old stabilization unit half buried under rubble. He didn't hesitate. Lifting the creature onto a reinforced workbench, he ripped the stabilization unit free and began jury-rigging it, connecting wires to the glowing patches on the alien's wings. Sweat stung his eyes, smoke filled his lungs, but he worked quickly, each decision critical. A sudden metallic screech echoed through the chamber. The emergency drones from earlier had rebooted. Their sensors locked onto the creature's energy signature. Marek cursed under his breath. He knew he couldn't fight them all. They were programmed to neutralize unknown threats, and this being was more alien than any protocol could predict. He grabbed a nearby hydraulic pipe and swung it at the first drone, knocking it off balance. Sparks exploded from its circuits. The creature responded instinctively, a pulse of energy arcing from its wings. The drone convulsed and fell silent. Marek felt a rush of hope, small, fleeting, but it was enough to keep going. "Hold on," he muttered, securing the last wire to the alien's chest. The glow softened slightly. The creature flinched, wings quivering, then relaxed against his touch. A small, musical trill sounded from its throat, a reward, a tiny sign of life. Marek allowed himself a brief smile, even as the chamber's lights flickered ominously. Then the station shook violently. Floor panels buckled, revealing deep cracks that seemed to extend into the asteroid itself. Marek stumbled, the creature slipping again. He caught it, clutching it tightly. The hum from the walls grew louder, like a heartbeat from some living entity, pulsing in time with the creature's fading energy. Marek realized the dragon was not just injured, it was causing the instability. Its energy was spilling into the station, feeding chaos into every system. He had to act fast. Improvising, Marek attached the stabilization unit to a nearby generator, rerouting power to create a protective energy field around the creature. Sparks flew as circuits overloaded. The dragon's wings flared, brushing against the glowing wires, and a low, vibrating sound resonated through Marek's chest. Pain shot through his arms, but he gritted his teeth, refusing to let go. A shadow passed across the chamber, a shape too massive to be a drone. Marek froze. The creature stiffened in his arms, wings flaring instinctively, casting shifting lights across the walls. Marek's instinct screamed. Whatever it was, it had followed the creature's energy. It wasn't mechanical. It wasn't stationary. And it was getting closer. The creature emitted a sharp, melodic shriek, and Marek felt the hum change. The walls themselves seemed to vibrate as if responding to its call. Marek's mind raced. He had no idea how this worked, no idea what the consequences would be, but one thing was clear. He couldn't just hold the creature. He had to stabilize it and fast, or both of them would die. Using his engineering skills, Marek rerouted more power to the protective field, adjusting the energy output with trembling hands. Each connection sparked, sending arcs of light across the chamber. The creature's glow steadied slightly, wings flexing as if testing the makeshift shield. Marek felt a flicker of relief. He had done it. He had bought them a few precious minutes. But relief didn't last. The massive shadow loomed closer, and the chamber shook violently again. The hum rose to a deafening roar. Merrick realized the station itself was now reacting to the creature's energy. Every system, every metal panel, every loose wire was feeding chaos. One wrong move and the station could collapse entirely. The creature wriggled against him, eyes glowing brighter, and Merrick realized it understood him somehow. Not with words but with feeling. Fear, urgency, determination. Merrick gritted his teeth. "I won't let you die," he whispered. Then, without warning, a beam of energy shot from the ceiling toward them. Merrick barely had time to shield the creature with his body. Sparks flew, panels buckled, and the dragon emitted a sharp, bright pulse. The energy hit it, and for a moment, everything went white. Merrick felt his knees buckle, his arms screaming from strain. When he opened his eyes, the chamber was quieter. The creature lay in his arms, breathing steadily for the first time since the collapse. Its glow was calm now, almost serene, but Merrick knew the danger wasn't over. Something massive, intelligent, and unseen had taken notice. He swallowed hard, adrenaline coursing through him. Whatever had been drawn here by the creature's energy was waiting. Watching. And it wasn't going to wait forever. Merrick's grip tightened. "We survive," he said. "No matter what comes next." A sudden vibration ran through the floor, stronger than anything before. Something enormous shifted in the shadows above the chamber, moving closer. The creature stiffened in his arms, wings twitching. Merrick's heart pounded. And then the lights went out completely. Darkness swallowed the chamber, broken only by the faint, pulsating glow of the creature in Merrick's arms. Its light was steady now, calm, but Merrick could feel a tension in the air that made every hair on his neck stand on end. Something had arrived, something immense and unseen, and it was waiting. The station groaned under pressure, floor plates rattling, loose wires sparking. Merrick had no choice but to move. He hugged the creature tighter and stumbled forward, hands scraping against the walls. Every step was calculated. One false move, and the energy surging from the dragon could tear the station apart. Yet Merrick's fear did not paralyze him. He had survived explosions, drones, and collapsing beams. He had to survive this too. Then it happened. A pulse of light shot from the dragon, brighter than before, and Merrick felt a sharp, unfamiliar sensation in his mind. Memories, flashes of images, rushing through his thoughts like wind through a tunnel. He blinked, trying to focus. He saw a barren planet, scorched and shattered, dragons like this one falling from the sky. He saw a fleet of unknown ships and voices, unfamiliar, urgent, pleading. The flashes ended as quickly as they had come, leaving Merrick gasping, chest tight. The creature looked at him with eyes full of intelligence, almost understanding. Merrick realized it had not just been injured, it had been hunted. Its energy had survived a massacre. And somehow, in this chaos, it was trying to communicate. He swallowed hard. "You're showing me something?" he whispered. The dragon tilted its head, a soft trill echoing in the chamber as if confirming. Merrick's mind raced. Could he understand it? Could he help it not just survive but fight back? Before he could answer, a rumble shook the floor. The shadows above shifted. Something enormous was moving closer, drawn by the dragon's light. Merrick's eyes caught a glimmer of metal, vast and angular, moving through the smoke. Whatever it was alive, and it was intelligent. Not a machine. Not like the drones. Something alive and massive. Merrick took a deep breath. He needed a plan and fast. Improvisation had saved them before, but this demanded something more. He scanned the chamber, noting the old conduits, the exposed wiring, and the maintenance panels. He could redirect power, maybe create a field to shield both of them from detection or attack. But one mistake and the station could collapse, or worse, the creature could die. Hands steadying, he started connecting wires, rerouting energy, every move precise. Sparks leapt from the panels and the dragon twitched, glowing brighter, wings brushing Merrick's shoulders. He realized it was reacting to his emotions. Fear, hesitation, even doubt. Every feeling fed its energy, sometimes violently. He clenched his teeth and focused. Calm. Determined. Protective. That was what it needed. The shadow shifted again and a low, resonant hum vibrated through the chamber. The dragon pulsed in response, wings spreading slightly. Merrick realized it could sense the presence above. The unseen creature, whatever it was, wasn't blind. It was aware and it was evaluating them. Merrick spoke softly, steadying himself. "We work together," he said. "I protect you. You control it." The dragon's glow brightened, a faint pulse of recognition passing between them. Merrick felt the connection deepen, like a fragile bridge of trust forming between human and alien. A sudden surge shot through the chamber. Sparks flew from every exposed conduit. Merrick felt his arms burned by the electric current, but he refused to drop the dragon. Its wings flared instinctively, and the glow expanded, illuminating symbols on the walls he hadn't noticed before, strange etched runes that pulsed in rhythm with the creature's energy. Marek's eyes widened. These symbols weren't just decoration, they were part of the station's architecture, tied to the dragon's power. Somehow, the station and the dragon were connected. The realization hit him like a blow. If he could stabilize the dragon's energy, if he could guide it, maybe they could control the station, even protect themselves from the shadow above. But it was risky. One wrong adjustment and the energy could explode, obliterating everything. Merrick adjusted the connections, carefully redirecting the power, all while keeping the dragon calm. The humming grew louder, and the massive presence above seemed to hesitate. The dragon's pulse intensified, synchronized with Marek's breathing, their minds linked in an unspoken rhythm. And then the dragon extended a wing, brushing Marek's face gently. A soft trill echoed directly in his mind, clear now, almost like a voice. "We are not alone." Marek's eyes widened. It wasn't just a warning. It was a revelation. Whatever had hunted its kind, whatever shadow had followed them here, it wasn't gone. And it was far more dangerous than anything Merrick had imagined. He tightened his grip, feeling both fear and exhilaration. "Then we survive," he whispered. "Together." A sudden crash made him spin. The chamber wall nearest the shadow split, metal tearing apart. Through the gap, Merrick glimpsed something enormous, its form shifting like liquid shadow with glowing eyes, moving closer, reacting to the dragon's energy. The dragon shivered violently in his arms, wings flaring instinctively. Marek's heart raced. He had stabilized the creature for now, had glimpsed its power, had formed a connection, but the danger above was no longer distant. It was here. Watching. Waiting. Calculating. And it was about to act. Marek's breath came in ragged bursts. The shadow loomed above, massive and alive, stretching across the chamber like liquid darkness. Its glowing eyes reflected the dragon's pulse, tracking every movement. The station trembled beneath them, panels buckling, sparks arcing through the air. Merrick knew there was no time to hesitate. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and both he and the dragon would be gone in an instant. He gritted his teeth and planted his feet. "We fight together," he whispered, fingers tightening around the alien's glowing wings. The creature responded instantly, a low trill vibrating through the chamber, syncing with Marek's heartbeat. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but Merrick felt the connection deepen. They weren't just surviving, they were working as one. The shadow surged forward, massive limbs colliding with the chamber walls. Debris rained down. Merrick rolled to the side, protecting the dragon in his arms. Sparks flew across the floor, igniting small fires. His eyes darted to the exposed conduits, the broken generator, and the damaged stabilization unit. He had a plan, risky as it was. If he could channel the dragon's energy through the station's core, they could repel the shadow, but misstep and the station would explode. "Hold on," Merrick said aloud, his voice steady despite the chaos. He set the dragon on the floor, wings trembling but glowing fiercely. He worked fast, redirecting power from the broken panels into the stabilization unit. The dragon responded, energy rippling across its scales, arcs of cosmic light dancing over the chamber walls. Merrick felt the warmth, almost a heartbeat, pulsing through his hands as he connected the final wires. The shadow struck. A massive wave of force slammed into the chamber, throwing Merrick across the floor. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he scrambled upright, eyes on the dragon. It had braced itself, wings outstretched, eyes locked on the intruder. The light from its scales grew blinding, casting sharp shadows across the shattered metal. Merrick realized the dragon was not just defending itself, it was amplifying his work. The station hummed in resonance with its power, conduits sparking, floors vibrating as if alive. He adjusted the final conduit, linking it directly to the dragon's energy. A pulse shot through the chamber, forcing the shadow to recoil, giving them the first advantage. "Come on," Merrick shouted, grabbing the dragon's wing. "We can do this." The dragon trilled, a sharp, melodic sound that resonated deep in Marek's chest. Its wings flared and light exploded from its body, cascading through the chamber in brilliant arcs. The shadow screamed, or something like it, and reeled back, its form distorting under the concentrated energy. Sparks flew, metal twisted, and the station trembled violently. Merrick staggered but held his ground, every ounce of strength focused on stabilizing the dragon's energy. Then came a surge stronger than anything before. The dragon's wings expanded fully, and Merrick felt a psychic shock ripple through his mind. Images, memories, warnings, flashes of distant planets, lost dragons and fleets of hunters, flowed through him. He clenched his jaw, forcing his mind to synchronize with the creature, matching fear with calm, doubt with determination. The connection was tenuous, but it was enough. With one final push, Merrick guided the energy outward. The dragon emitted a concentrated pulse, a beam of brilliant starlight, that struck the shadow full force. It shrieked, recoiling violently, its form splintering like glass under pressure. Merrick felt the station shudder, loose panels falling, but the dragon held steady, glowing brighter than any light he had ever seen. Merrick's arms ached, sweat stinging his eyes, but he refused to let go. Each pulse was precise, a combination of human ingenuity and alien instinct. Slowly, the shadow weakened, dissolving into fragments of darkness that scattered into the corners of the chamber. The station trembled one last time, then fell eerily silent. Merrick sank to his knees, breathing hard, his arms trembling from strain. The dragon hovered beside him, wings folded, glow dimming to a calm luminescence. It nuzzled his shoulder, a small trill vibrating in his chest like a heartbeat. Relief surged through him, fleeting but profound. They had survived. They had won. But victory was not complete. Merrick looked around the chamber and saw the true cost: twisted metal, exposed conduits sparking, and deep cracks running across the floors and walls. The station was damaged beyond repair, and whatever had followed them remained somewhere in the shadows, observing, waiting. Then the dragon did something Merrick hadn't expected. It extended a wing and touched his forehead lightly, a faint pulse of energy transferring directly into him. A vision flashed in his mind: distant stars, an alien civilization lost, and a fleet moving across galaxies. The dragon's memory, its history, its pain, it was showing him what had been destroyed, what still might be saved. Merrick staggered back, heart pounding. "You're not alone," he whispered, realization dawning. The danger they had just faced was only a fragment of a much larger threat. The dragon's kin, the hunters, the cosmic forces, they were out there waiting for the right moment. The lights flickered again and Merrick's wrist console beeped. A sensor reading showed an enormous energy signature approaching the station from outside. He froze. Whoever, or whatever, was coming, they had tracked the dragon. And now they would find him too. He looked down at the creature, wings folding gently, eyes glowing softly. Despite exhaustion, fear, and pain, Merrick felt a fierce determination. They had survived against impossible odds once. They could do it again. He whispered, more to himself than the dragon, "We fight together, no matter what." Outside the chamber, the station trembled again. A massive shadow passed along the outer hull, larger and faster than before. The dragon stiffened, reacting instinctively, eyes locking on the energy signature. Merrick's chest tightened. He knew the next challenge would be even greater, more dangerous, more impossible. But for the first time he also knew something else. They weren't just survivors. They were a team. And together, human courage and alien power could defy even the heavens. The chamber doors shuddered violently, the shadows outside pressing against them like living metal. Merrick took a deep breath, gripping the dragon's wings. Whatever came next, they would face it together. And then, a new vibration shook the floor, different from before. Something enormous was about to break through. Merrick pressed himself against the chamber wall, the dragon huddled close, wings folding protectively around him. Outside, the station groaned as enormous shadows shifted across the hall. Sparks fell like rain, and the flickering lights threw the chamber into chaotic strobe. But inside, a fragile calm had taken root. The dragon's glow was steady now, a soft pulse that mirrored Merrick's heartbeat. He looked down at it, really looked. The creature wasn't just alive, it was aware, intelligent, and somehow connected to him in ways he didn't fully understand. Its eyes shone with trust, and Merrick felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: purpose. He wasn't just surviving. He was needed. The chamber shook again, louder this time. Merrick gritted his teeth and adjusted the stabilization unit, redirecting power into the dragon's wings. Sparks sizzled across the metal floor, and the dragon's body shimmered brighter, tendrils of cosmic light reaching outward. The shadow outside recoiled slightly, and Merrick realized that together they could influence the world around them. Not just defend, it could fight back. He took a deep breath and steadied himself. "We've come this far," he whispered. "We finish this, or we die trying." The dragon emitted a soft trill in response, almost as if it understood the weight of the moment. Merrick's hands shook as he fine-tuned the energy field, connecting conduits and panels in an intricate web. Sparks danced along the wires, illuminating symbols on the walls that now seemed to hum with latent energy. He realized the station itself was responding to the dragon's presence, bending to its power, feeding their strength. And then the massive shadow struck. The outer hull flexed under the pressure of the colossal entity pressing against the station. Merrick stumbled but stayed upright, bracing the dragon against him. Its wings flared in instinctive defense, arcs of light slicing through the smoke and shadows. Merrick felt the force reverberate through his bones, but he held firm. This was their stand. He pushed forward, guiding the dragon's energy outward in a concentrated pulse. Light erupted in the chamber, cascading along the walls, and the shadow outside faltered, recoiling from the brilliance. Merrick gritted his teeth, forcing every ounce of strength and focus into the connection. He was human, fragile, exhausted, but he refused to yield. The shadow shrieked, a sound that made the metal walls tremble. Sparks flew, panels twisted, and the station groaned violently. But then something extraordinary happened. The dragon extended a wing, brushing Marek's shoulder lightly, sending a surge of energy into him. Images flashed in his mind: distant galaxies, lost dragons, civilizations destroyed by the same cosmic hunters. Merrick felt their pain, their fear, but he also felt hope. The dragon's trust was a beacon, and together they could be stronger than any shadow. With a final, calculated push, Merrick amplified the dragon's pulse through the station's conduits. The shadow outside shattered into fragments of dark energy, scattering across the void. The station quaked violently one last time, then fell eerily silent. Merrick sank to the floor, breathing hard, but the dragon hovered above him, wings folded, glowing softly. Its trill echoed faintly in his mind, a comforting vibration that settled his racing heartbeat. Merrick reached out, brushing a hand along the dragon's scaled neck. "We did it," he whispered. For the first time, relief washed over him, tempered by awe. This creature, alien and fragile, had survived because he refused to give up. Because he had courage when everything seemed lost. Because he had believed in something bigger than himself. The chamber was quiet now, but Marek's mind raced. They had won this battle, yes, but the visions from the dragon lingered. More hunters, more shadows, more civilizations at risk. This was bigger than a single station or a single dragon. They had survived one encounter, but the war for the stars was just beginning. Merrick rose slowly, holding the dragon close. Its wings brushed his face, and he felt a surge of understanding flow between them. He could feel its energy, its memory, its will intertwined with his own. Together they were not just a man and a creature. They were a force. He looked around the chamber at the shattered walls and sparking conduits. "We can fix this," he said quietly. "We'll repair, we'll survive, and we'll be ready for what comes next." The dragon responded with a soft trill, almost like a promise. Outside, through a crack in the hull, distant stars gleamed. Merrick felt something shift in the dragon, a faint pull, a signal, a memory leading outward. He realized they were not finished. Their bond had done more than save a life. It had awakened something, a resonance that could echo across the galaxy. Something that would not go unnoticed. Marek's lips curled into a small smile despite exhaustion. "We're not done," he said softly. "This is just the beginning." And then, a new energy signature flashed across his wrist console. Far larger than anything before. It was not a shadow, not a drone. It was a fleet. Moving toward them, faster than anything Merrick had ever tracked. He felt the dragon stiffen instinctively, wings flicking nervously. Marek's heart surged. The stakes were higher than ever. But for the first time, fear was tempered by resolve. They had survived, they had fought together, and they were ready. Whatever came next, he and the dragon would face it as one. He looked down at the creature, a shared understanding passing between them. "We've shaken the heavens," he whispered. "Now we take the stars." Outside, the fleet shimmered against the void, vast and formidable, and the station trembled with anticipation. Merrick and the dragon turned toward it, ready, unyielding, unstoppable. The adventure was far from over, but for the first time, the human and the dragon felt unstoppable together. And somewhere deep in the cosmic shadows, a voice, alien, immense and full of curiosity, stirred.